Hello, I'm Belinda K. Conaway, your Register of Wills for Baltimore City. Welcome to The Will, a show dedicated to informing you, the citizens, about the information related to wills and estates. I'm happy to be joining you from the Dr. Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson Civil Rights Museum right here in Baltimore City. It's located in Baltimore's Bolton Hill neighborhood. Today, we will be discussing the will and legacy of civil rights leader and fellow Baltimorean, Dr. Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson, and the significance of her last will and testament to make this house a civil rights museum. I hope that all of you consider the power and impact of your own legacy, and this story will encourage you to write your own will today. And as always, join me for my new edition of the Conaway Chronicle, where I share new information about things happening right here in your community. I'm Belinda Conaway, your Register of Wills for Baltimore City. Instead of making your usual New Year's resolutions that fall by the wayside in a few weeks, why not do something that will protect your assets that you've worked so hard for? Write your will today. Be sure to visit us on Facebook at Row Baltimore City or call 410-752-5131. And remember, where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome back to The Will. I'm your host, Belinda K. Conaway, your Register of Wills for Baltimore City. Before we get started, I always want to remind you that we strongly encourage you to call our office first with any questions. We will arm you with valuable information to help minimize the number of visits necessary to complete estate business. You may reach the Register of Wills office for Baltimore City at 410-752-5131. Helpful information, checklists, and forms are also available on our website, www.registers.maryland.gov. You can also reach us on Facebook at Row Baltimore City. Today, we're going to talk about the last will and testament of Dr. Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson and a directive that she provided to transform her family home into a civil rights museum for the public. For those who may not be familiar with Dr. Jackson's name and legacy, Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson is a mother of the American Civil Rights Movement. As head of the Baltimore chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP, for 35 years, she organized to protest lynching, educational segregation, and police brutality. She was also the mother of a family of activists. Her daughter, Juanita Jackson Mitchell, was the first African-American female lawyer to practice law in the state of Maryland, and her son-in-law, Presidential Medal of Freedom winner Clarence Mitchell Jr., was the chief NAACP lobbyist who helped secure passage of key civil rights legislation in the 1950s and 60s. Her great-grandson, Kiefer Mitchell, served in the Maryland House of Delegates and on the Baltimore City Council. Today, we are joined by Iris Leigh Barnes, the curator here at Lillie Mae Carroll Jackson Civil Rights Museum. Ms. Barnes earned her master's degree in museum studies and historical preservation from Morgan State University and is currently a doctoral candidate in history at Morgan State University. She is the recipient of many distinguished fellowships and awards, such as being named an inaugural Interpretation Fellow at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture and the National Association of Interpreters. This year, Ms. Barnes begins her first term as a commissioner on the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, appointed by Governor Larry Hogan. I hope that this will be a creative way of discussing property and legacy. I'm Belinda Conaway, your Register of Wills for Baltimore City. Instead of making your usual New Year's resolutions that fall by the wayside in a few weeks, why not do something that will protect your assets that you've worked so hard for? Write your will today. Be sure to visit us on Facebook at Row Baltimore City or call 410-752-5131. And remember, where there's a will, there's a way. Dr. Jackson was an entrepreneur who owned many properties over the course of her lifetime. Can you tell us a little bit more about Dr. Jackson and her legacy?
I would say Dr. Jackson was someone who was determined, very determined even as a little girl. There's a story that we tell about when she was young, and her family owned businesses. One of them was a laundry business. And she wanted to deliver the laundry, and it was to this house. So she brings the laundry up to the front door. The mistress of the house opens the door and is shocked because she came to the front door. What are you doing coming to the front door? Who do you think you are? Her response, I am Lillie Mae Carroll, and I'll come to the front door to this house because one day I'm gonna own this house. She said, I will come to this front door. The next time I come to this house, I'm gonna come to the front door because I'm gonna own this house one day. And she kept that dream and she made that promise to herself. And then she eventually owned this house and wanted it to become a museum. But before that, also inspiring her was her daughter's dream. Virginia, her oldest daughter, wanted to attend art school. She wanted to be an artist. She wanted to attend MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art. But at the time, it was segregated. She wanted to go to museums. They were segregated. Ms. Jackson said to her, don't worry, you'll own your own museum one day, and I'm gonna help you. So she kept that dream alive. And eventually, this museum was opened by the family in 1978. Ms. Jackson put it in her will that she wanted this house that she eventually purchased in a neighborhood that she would not have been able to purchase when she was a little child. And so the house itself is an artifact that tells the story of the neighborhood, tells the story of Baltimore and the communities. And so she said to her daughter, I want this house to be a civil rights museum to highlight the struggle and the leadership of Baltimore in the civil rights movement. And so that's what they did. In 1978, the family opened it up under the leadership of Virginia. And eventually, it's a house that was built in about 1867, so it was in disrepair. And funding is always an issue, so that's why wills are important. They help people to realize dreams with continuing a legacy. And eventually Morgan State University acquired it, and it is what it is today.
That is a wonderful history for what happens, because the real significance is that when Dr. Jackson was coming up, African Americans were not allowed to come to the front door, especially if you were anyone providing a service. You normally use the rear entrance, but for someone that age to be able to stand up for herself and say, I am somebody and one day I'll own this house, and to actually bring that to fruition is really a wonderful testament as to what can happen when we have determination and have goals, and the legacy of it in making sure that the family knew what she wanted done with the house, and the significance of the home was also very important.
It's realizing dreams. It represents how you can make a change. What the community used to be is not what it is today. And as individuals, we can take a stand and make a change.
Well, to actually acquire the house and then be able to use the house as a hub for advocating for civil rights also speaks volumes. Would you share a little bit more with us about that, how this house was used for that purpose?
Well, as you know, many restaurants and hotels were segregated. So individuals, blacks, could not stay in them. So she used this house, which is 4 stories, to host individuals in the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, Carl Murphy. Some people, like Rosa Parks, would stay here in the house, but they would have meetings and strategize and plan in the house. So this house has a lot of history.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's beautifully done. I know that we'll get a chance to walk around a bit, but will you tell us a little bit more? And I know there's a piece here, but would you tell us about the significance of the dress?
This dress is her graduation dress. A lot of people see it and see it's beautiful, lace, custom made, and think it's a wedding dress. But education was so important as we consider weddings today. Women spend thousands of dollars on a dress. So this custom made dress, though, was made for a graduation because of the importance of education, having been denied or given an inferior education over the years. For African Americans, we took it very seriously.
Well, absolutely. So what's in the house really embodies the movement for African Americans in their struggle to get education and to acquire property. Were really big, and to be treated equally. And so just to have these things symbolized and available for other people to come and experience is really a beacon of light for all people. And so we thank you for sharing that with us. And so were plans for this museum in Dr. Jackson's will?
They definitely were. She didn't just share them and express interest. She made sure that those plans were in her will. And her daughter, Virginia, and the rest of the family made sure those plans were carried out.
You know, that's really important. It's important that family knows what you want. It helps because once we're gone, we don't have a chance to come back and say, I really wanted this or wanted that. So it's very important that people let their family know what their wishes are, but also they put it in writing and do all of the necessary things so that these things can come to fruition. It's a great story, and it's great to actually see it happen because it's a piece of history. It's relevant to Baltimore City and relevant to the community. So tell us about the museum. Have there been any kinds of obstacles, or is everything going well? How are things going?
Things are going good, but there were many obstacles. First of all, you have a home that was built in the 19th century. So you have a lot of disrepair. So restoration was the first thing that had to take place. Then it needed to be created into a modern museum. On top of that restoration, maintaining the history and legacy, maintaining that original architecture, but making it also a modern museum. So that's one of the obstacles. Another is funding. Funding is always an obstacle. For museums in order to get the proper amount of staffing, in order to get the, so that we can conduct our programming. I am happy to say in terms of wills, just at the end of last year, we received a donation from someone who thought of the museum in their will.
That's great. And that's really, we always want to remind people that there's so many wonderful things that they can do, but it only happens if you write your will and make sure that your family is aware of your final wishes.
Absolutely.
So that's really good to know that someone would have included the museum in their will to help the museum doors stay open and for the legacy to continue.
Absolutely. It's an important story, and it's important that it stays open. It's important for the youth to come and understand the role of the youth in the civil rights movement and how they today need to continue that legacy. Some of the issues that they were challenged with, facing, still exist today. They may have changed a little bit, but they still exist. So it is up to today's youth to make those changes. Keep it going. Keep this legacy going. It's so important.
It is. And you look back at the things that Dr. Jackson fought against, lynchings, police brutality,
Absolutely.
equality, equal education. And these are still things that we fight for today, right here in Baltimore City. So I think that it's great that young people have a place to go where they can see that, you know, this has been a struggle that we've been fighting for years, and that your activities, what you do, can make a difference.
Absolutely.
You can absolutely have a voice. And then on top of that, for it to come from a lady in the community,
Yes.
is also wonderful, so that we know that ladies also light the way and have a place in history.
Absolutely. I think the young ladies who come here are very inspired to know that they can make a change. It's not just the young Martin Luther Kings, it's the young Rosa Parks and the young Lillie Mae Carroll Jacksons who can make a difference today.
Absolutely. It takes all of us, a collective effort. Tell us about the museum's hours, how people can come. Do they sign up to come or make appointments or reservations?
Well, we are open regular hours Wednesdays and Thursdays from 11 to Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 11 to 3. But also, if you want a group tour, give us a call. The number is 443-885-5300. We can make the arrangements. School groups, we host a lot of school groups. We want to inspire the youth. It's great stories here, and they are the next generation. It's important that they come.
Okay, we don't want to give everything away because we know we want people to come and experience what the museum has to offer. But what are some of the most popular points in the museum, or some of the most important ones?
I think, again, really looking at the youth in the protest movements, the Buy Where You Can Work campaign, which was galvanized by the youth of the community. Juanita, who was part of the Citywide Young People's Forum, who led that. And they led that campaign. They led an anti-lynching campaign. And with the Buy Where You Can Work campaign, stores listened. It took them a while, but they understood that those youth had power, and the youth understood the power that they had, and they made a change.
Well, just give a little background. Buy Where You Can Work. There were many stores in Dr. Lillie Carroll Jackson's time that would not hire African Americans, and so that movement was about you spend your money if they would hire someone like you.
Exactly.
So if they would not hire someone who looked like you don't spend your money there, which was significant because apparently green means more to some people than the color of your skin. So they want to make the money, which was a great strategy that we also saw used other times in other places, like the bus boycott that happened. And so people came to find that money mattered even when you only spend it a little bit. But if you have a lot of people spending a little bit of money, it has a great impact. Thank you so much for allowing us to come and learn more about the museum. And we hope that people will actually come out and get a chance to experience the Dr. Lillie Carroll Jackson Civil Rights Museum. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I still cannot believe that Prince is gone.
I know, right? And he was so young. He died without a will.
Really? I didn't know that. I think I need to get a will.
I think you're right.
Let's not make the same mistake. Write your will today. Call us, visit us online, or check us out on social media. And remember, where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome to another edition of the Conaway Chronicle. I'm excited to announce that the Baltimore City Register of Wills office began the monumental task of digitizing thousands of older wills stored in our offices. Recently, my staff visited the Library of Congress, headed up by Baltimore City's own Carla Hayden, to obtain valuable guidance to make these age-old records more accessible to the researchers and the general public. We wanted to make sure that we did not jeopardize these precious artifacts. Consider this: the records that we maintain on site go as far back as 1776. Our objective is to have the original books transferred over to a digital format and then sent to the Maryland State Archives, making it easier to access outdated information. We understand that these records can be very valuable to families trying to trace their heritage. Some of our on-site records even include details like slaves being freed via a slave owner's will and other historically significant information. This process is underway now thanks to our digitization team. I will keep you abreast of their progress.